All right, we will be getting into lighting probably in the next, probably in the next meeting. I'm planning on putting a lighting presentation together. So we can go over all the different types of lighting systems and whatnot. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Damian Garreau. I'm the Vice President of Ohio Aqua Farms. We're a agricultural technology development firm. So essentially, we get some crazy idea in our heads, and we blueprint it, we build it out of junk, we test it, we find out every place that we went wrong, and then we try to fix it. And so we've been doing this now for about 3 years. We've got a couple of very successful test models that we've put out. We are going through the patenting process, so I'm afraid that I can't show too much of the technology, but I did bring some photographs of one of the older systems that we have built, so we can take a look at those today and actually see how this technology can produce with very little time or attention. That's my business partner there, Lumbo. He's been researching.
Crazy in the idea.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's been researching vertical agriculture, indoor agriculture, aquaculture for the better part of 9 years. I've been with him now for the past 3 in business development, marketing strategy, business strategy, things of that nature. Tonight, what we're going to talk about are just the different types of hydroponic systems. We're going to cover everything from the wick to NFT to aeroponics. We're going to keep this very simple because afterwards we'd like to start just a brainstorming session, get some ideas. Where are we going to get materials? What's the system possibly going to look like? How do we capture any water from leakage? Once we start looking at design models, we have a lot of work to do. So let's just get the basics out of the way and then we'll go from there, okay? So we're going to start out today with the wick system. It's going to be on the second page of the presentation handout. The wick system, hands down, the easiest type of grow system imaginable. You have growth media. Below the growth media is a tank. You have some natural fiber that goes from the tank to the growth media, and the wick fiber will pull all of the moisture up. It's almost a no-brainer. You can, some people do sometimes add a power element to it to prevent the water from going stagnant. They'll add an aerator or something like that into the tank to help keep the water fresh. So low cost, easy setup. Those are kind of the basics you'll see on page, third page of the pros to the system. Now those systems are generally designed to grow non-fruiting plants. Why? Because the wick does not know how much water to deliver to a plant that produces fruit, tomatoes or cucumbers or something of that nature. So it's very unpredictable when it comes to fruiting plants or flowering plants. But you know, lettuce, kale, spinach, something like that, that'll work just fine. But nutrient imbalance, big problem. And that's really covered on the cons of the wick system. So I would say if we were going to get into working with any type of wick system in the future, since we've already talked about the possibility of working with kids or schools, if we go into grade schools or middle schools, we can essentially make wick systems out of things that you throw away. 2-liter pop bottles, milk jugs, anything of that nature. So it's a cool little project for young kids. So it may be something in the future we look at if we do get schools involved. I'm hoping we get schools involved, Mr. Marketing and PR guy over there. So we really do need to, I think, in the back of our minds, start thinking about kid-friendly projects. And this would be probably one of the simplest ones for younger children. We'll move into the ebb and flow. Ebb and flow system's probably the next easiest system to work with. Basically, you have a trough filled with some type of growth media. Doesn't have to be soil, preferably not, because you're gonna contaminate the heck out of your water tank. But rock wool, or some of the other perlite, or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. All work really great in these systems. Again, a really easy system to work with, most widely recognized system, and as far as the difficulty of maintaining it, as long as you're willing to get your hands dirty and put in a little bit of elbow grease every now and again, it's relatively simple and easy to work with. So we may look at maybe something like that for one of our second projects, so we can start studying the fluid dynamics and the water chemistry and things of that nature, working with a tank style system. Okay. What are some of the pros for this? They are super easy to build. You can take a what's the name of that big square?
IBC toe.
The IBC toe. You take an IBC toe, hack the top quarter of it off, flip that upside down, fashion it on top of the tank itself, fill it with plants, fill the top with plants and growth media, set a pump up, flood the top, wherever you want your flood return to go, it's gonna drop right back down into the tank. It's very simple, very easy to use, and nutrient abundance. This is something that's gonna be very important in any system that we try to grow, to make sure that we are delivering proper nutrition to these plants. So what we see though, with the ebb and flow system, this one has a problem with magnesium for some reason. So we want to make sure that we find a way, if we use something like this, that we bring some minerals back into the system. And we could possibly do that through growth media or additives. So we'll have to do a little bit of research on how we want to approach. And we're going to find that for a lot of these systems, so you're probably going to hear that a lot throughout the course of the evenings, but getting minerals and back into these systems. What are some of the risks? Power. Lose power, lose production, everything dies. So we have to make sure that we keep power in place. Breakdowns. We have pumps, we have aerator stones, hoses, lines, anything, cracks, plugs, anything of that nature. Whoever we're training to work on these things is going to have to learn how to maintain these things. Okay, it's just, I have a company to run, a lot of other people here have companies to run, so we really don't have the time. So, I'm sorry, ma'am, may I have your name again?
Laura.
Laura, so it'll be up to Laura and her staff and her team, and I'm horrible with names. Cody. Cody. I'm gonna make everybody have name tags on. And Cody's staff, if they decide to come on board with this project, we'll have to work with you guys to make sure that if any of your staff are gonna be helping to maintain this, that we get them trained properly. Plant toxicity is gonna be another issue. That nature, anytime we add any type of organic nutrient or anything of that nature, we have to make sure that we're cleaning these systems, because you don't want anything organic to spoil. You don't want it to grow bacteria. You don't want it to muck up the system with anything that's going to make people sick. We make people sick, we are in more trouble than you can possibly imagine. So, as with any restaurant, I have a background in restaurants. The very first thing I went to school for was culinary arts. So we all know cleanliness comes first. If you're not clean, don't serve food, right? Right. Okay. So the same thing goes with these systems. If they're not clean, we shut them down. We don't use them. We never put the public at risk. Another thing that goes on with these systems is pH. We do have some systems guys that are coming on board here with the project, and they will be installing some pH sensors and some oxygen sensors and things of that nature into the grow systems that we develop. And we should be able to access these systems remotely and just remotely in the event that this is going on in the middle of the night. So we will have some redundancies and alarms and things of that nature put into place for this project. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the drip system, drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is fun. Mike and I did drip irrigation in a raised garden bed. I'm surprised through half of it that we're still friends. But we produced some amazing results using drip irrigation, giving each plant exactly what it needs, delivered to the plant in a slow flow. We used a fraction of water in comparison to conventional land-based or raised garden, bed-based gardening. One of the most important things, and I really don't want to touch on anybody's political views, what I want to talk about is a realistic view. We do not, under any circumstances, want to waste water. It's the one element on the planet that we need more than anything else, other than air. Air you die quick, water you die almost as quick, and pretty much food's next. But when it comes to food, I'll probably eat a bowl because I like bacon. So drip irrigation is a lot of fun to work with. I would say that we probably experience, what would you say, maybe 25% larger, 15 to 25% larger yield, easy doing drip irrigation. That's what I would think. So water efficiency is really good, and cost reduction as far as nutrients. Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Good, how are you?
Good. Because the plants are getting everything they need delivered to them directly, essentially right at the base of the root, or right at the top of the root, we don't really waste any nutrients. We're not spreading them around, they're not getting thinned out in soil beds or anything of that nature. We don't have to worry about them drying on the side of tanks as water evaporates or anything like that. So it really is kind of a really good system as far as efficiency is concerned. If you want to control your overall costs, make sure that you can regulate everything that you use. Okay, so that's, that was the, so we're gonna, yeah, that's the drip system right there. So let's go past the pros, that'll be on the next page. We just discussed pros, let's move on to the cons of the drip system. Drip systems cost money. There are a lot of parts. We have pumps, hoses, regulation flow drip emitters. On top of the drip emitter, you may have another small fluid delivery hose that plugs onto the top of the drip emitter to get it to, plants that are placed kind of funky. The time involved in setting up all those little parts, making sure that you have adequate water flow. Do you automate the water flow so that you can regulate what's going on? I mean, there's so much that goes into the system, but we loved the system because of the way that it worked. I had so many tomatoes growing in one season off of just a couple. What did we plant? 4 cherry tomatoes? I had more cherry tomatoes than I can imagine coming off of these plants. I got 6 freaking tomatoes. So it's a great system. Let's see. Troubleshooting the drip irrigation system. You have things like lime buildup that happens. That can clog drip emitters. You have any type of particulates that get into the tank and make it through the pumping system and get tied up in the drip emitters. Guess what? Drip emitter doesn't work, plant starves, plant dies. So you have to constantly check the system, and the individual